right. And we're going to do it just in time because we're going to be moving into our next topic. We're going to be talking about the current situation in LCS. We had a bit of a prediction and a setup to what to expect when you're watching this past weekend of League of Legends, but now we have the results and we're going to be going over what the final results are as we go into the playoffs here. Sorry, we have to pick up where we left off last week, and that's right here. With the games happening the 10th and the 11th, last Saturday and Sunday. Team Liquid Honda taking the win over NRG. This was the one we had our eyes on because there was the potential for upset. It looked like the script was going to go as move forward, but if NRG could just muster that, X factor, which we kind of hope for, then that would have shooken up the middle of the pack standings that we're talking about. We didn't know who was going to get third, fourth, fifth, sixth. We did not know what was going to happen. But, now we have a solid idea, and it's mostly because Team Liquid Honda here bringing us to a 2-0 victory over NRG. The 7-0 standings overall definitely keeps it pretty straightforward. You kind of expected them to win it out with this stuff. All right. Then on the other side here, 100 Thieves over Shopify Rebellion for Saturday. 100 Thieves having a pretty close one against that 1-6 team, but they haven't been doing so hot themselves. They do pull out the win, and it might be beneficial to them because they were pretty close to getting eliminated for contention for the playoffs of the summer split coming up. Nick, are you with us? And did you get to watch these games?
So I did, man, but it wasn't nice. Like having NRG, this is what I was saying last week, right? Like having NRG, like basically they get to go play in the sandpit. Like they didn't really have to do anything. And then FlyQuest and Cloud9 are the only ones who actually stressed. It was cool that we did see, we saw some movement in the fourth spot. As I was saying, it's to be expected that NRG was going to lose. No disrespect to them or anything, right? But it's to be expected that they were going to lose. They did. I'm pretty sure I said Cloud9. I was pretty sure Cloud9 was going to take the 2 spot. FlyQuest is still it's not that they're doing bad. It sucks to lose 0-2, but these should be best of 5s, to be honest. These are the last games of the regular season. You just make them best of 5s, almost like mini playoffs. I think that this is the one thing that North America is, I don't want to say they're better at, but they really need more games in order to get to swimming. We'll say get used to the water.
Yeah, another way could be it'd take a while to warm up, right? They haven't figured out their sea legs here, but it seems to be tough because if you look at their records overall for the end of this season, the split of the season, Liquid Honda, I want to joke back to our inside joke. Team Liquid Honda here, 7-0. They haven't lost a game this entire time. 100 Thieves going 3-4, NRG going 2-5, Shopify Rebellion 1-6. It really just seems to be the Team Liquid Honda show, FlyQuest, and Cloud9, right? And that was what we were talking about last week when we were saying what to look out for this. But we also identified that spark, that possibility that could just energize Energy Kia. And it just didn't. They fell flat, 0-2. And of course, statistically, numerically, 7-0, going against a 7-0 team, you're probably not going to make it, bro. But maybe that's the thing. But yeah, that's the tough thing, man. If you can't just turn that competitive on, turn that juice on, maybe you can't do it, right? Maybe that's the fault of North America. You got to warm up. Maybe they, I don't know. It's something to talk about with format.
Yeah, a bunch of different reasons. I do think that something like this, there is no reason for NRG to play another match at all in playoffs. They're no disrespect, bro. I don't want to see you play again. That's it. So the format should just be changed based on we shouldn't have a 2-6 fucking team sitting in playoffs. What the fuck? Full honesty, it kind of pisses me off that a 2-6 team, everybody else, the other guys are 3-4. Right. Maybe we need these records are kind of they're kind of awkward, right? Little awkward, these records.
Bad, so it definitely feels bad.
Hey,
Billy here. Wanted to take a quick minute to let you know a few different things. If you enjoyed the videos so far, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps us out and it tells the algorithm to share it with more people. You can find the Esports Meta live every week on Twitch and YouTube. It's where we film the podcast or hang out, play games, and chat. If social media is more your vibe, check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, or Twitter if you use Threads. Does anybody use Threads? This is a video game community that's excited to talk about esports, so jump into the conversation. Of course, you can find more videos like this here on YouTube. Just hit that subscribe button right there or there. Thanks for watching, and let's get back to the show.
7 games, like 7 matches, like 7 matches, right? And they're playing like at most 3, like no, 5, right? This is like for, you know, you can have 2-2 and then go for the 5th game. That's not happening. So, you know, it's definitely weird, but I would rather see the top 5 spots. Like, this is half the league. There's only 10 teams now, right? What is the bottom half doing in there? Like, again, no disrespect. What is going on? Camera. There we go. That was weird. But anyway, so like I would rather see the first 5 teams like round robin each other or something, like everybody faces everybody instead of like in playoffs, so that I can see, like, you know, it doesn't always have to be like football. It could be more like an actual game, guys. Like, it doesn't need to be tournament style every single time of like, you know, these guys going into the semifinals already, you know, and then there's like a losers bracket and stuff like that. Like, we already have that many games. I don't know. It's just like an old man being grumpy. Yeah,
but the only thing I'd kind of make a point to you with it is like, if you have these 7 teams playing like this and like there's obvious bad ones, 1-6 Shopify Rebellion, 1-6 Immortals Progressive, 2-5 Energy Kia, like, it doesn't feel like it's going to amount to anything if these teams are playing more games. And like, is this a quality issue? Is this a just a flub or a fluke from this stage of things? Like, it's hard to say. And like, we saw how FlyQuest struggled last stage and then ended up going on a pretty good streak for it. And maybe they're just like, they're kind of just riding high through the middle of the pack. Same with like a Dignitas here. But like, you've got 3 teams with positive records out of 8. I don't know how that's possible. Right?
It's because we're missing the other 2 teams. Like, I misspoke. Like, there's only 8 teams right now. Like,
right, and really, it was like just 10. This stage, it seems like it was just a round robin. You're playing the other 7 teams once. So Team Liquid beat every other team, no problem. You know, and Cloud9 probably just lost to Team Liquid, right? But then you've got the other side where it's like, yeah, like there's something amiss here, and this 7-0 record doesn't feel good. It doesn't look good. The format of it doesn't, because then when you, like you said, you bring it into playoffs, you've got a 2-5 team going against a 6-2 team or a 5-2 team, 5-2.
You know, by comparison, there's like 10 less games compared to like 10 less matches compared to like Korea, who also has 10 teams, and they do best of 3s. Sorry. So, and like a lot of that could be the time aspect of it, like how long it takes to play League, how long the pick and ban phases go, how long the broadcast might be. Well, I mean, they shortened the broadcast, but I think this has more to do with the fact that like we're in that transition stage of like, we're not NA, we're North America, or sorry, we're the Americas now, right?
I was like, going to say NA is North America, bro.
Hooray! Like, no, like, you know, South America region got put into us, right? So like, I'm assuming that this is that weird stage before we evolve into, you know, the Americas. Like, it's a little it's a tad goofy, right? It's really goofy, yeah. So I mean, like, that's just a thing that like. Yeah, and I wonder how much it's going to hurt our like the broadcast of the game itself. Like, the transition might be good, but like going into a playoff system here, that like it makes sense on paper, but like the first couple of games are just going to be bad. They're going to be like unexciting, and like you're going to root for the upset. Like, these Dignitas and 100 Thieves is going to be a closer matchup, but then they're going to go straight into the Lion's Den here against Team Liquid, right? Like, oh, and like the stat lines are going to be like, well, you know, Team Liquid just taking the win. You know, if I was a betting man, I'd probably be betting on that guy because they went undefeated against all these teams earlier in this stage. So like, it feels bad. Like, you're not wrong. Yeah. You're not wrong. It does feel bad. I like the this goes for fighters. This goes for any competitive game, like just in general. And this, again, no disrespect to Dignitas and 100 Thieves are going to have a better chance going up against Team Liquid than FlyQuest is going to have going up against Cloud9 after this. And again, this is no disrespect, bro. Like, you're going to get bad habits from playing bad players. So like, if you outclass these teams, you're just doing a disservice to yourself if you just don't pump them. If you don't slap cheeks and just take them the hell out and disrespect them, like, you actually negatively impact your own team's odds of like winning and your mental going into like Cloud9. Like, Cloud9 already beat you, and who did you warm up with? You warmed up with like the sixth place team out of 8. Like,
right. And that's kind of my point. It's kind of my point, because it's just like folding on itself in like a negative feedback loop. And maybe it doesn't matter. Like, right, they're not going to be NA anymore. They're going to be the Americas. You could take the team out of NA, but you can't take the NA out of the team. That's for sure. So we'll see what happens with the new format next year. But how is this going to play out? Because we just came from MSI, which was arguably one of the best MSIs there's ever been. And, you know, half of that reason is going to be from the international teams and the international competition. But it was exciting across the board. It wasn't just some 1-6 team skirting its way in. It was the meat and potatoes, and this is supposed to be the meat and potatoes of the LCS, the playoffs, before we get into the end game this season, right? So like, here we are in the playoffs, and what are we looking at? You know, so hopefully it's not something that undermines the quality, like you're saying, the standings of like player skill, the bad habits. It starts introducing bad habits. But
like, they're not bad. Like I don't.
They're way better than us.
Weird.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they're way better than us. But like the players that are on these teams, like Energy Kia has they got a really solid roster. I love a lot of the players on Energy Kia, man. Like FBI, Huhi, Soaz. Like, I like a lot of these players. Right, Contracts is on there. Like, I really enjoy these players. And I like how they play. Yeah, I was correct. I got it right. Palafox is on there. Let's go. So like, they have good players. And this, like, I say it all, like, America's, you know, North America isn't that bad. It's got all these players on it. Like, they're like really solid players. And I think it's the meat and potatoes is always watched, and we always crave more meat and potatoes. The problem is we never, like, I do think people are a little flippant when it comes to like North America, like watching the North American games, to say like, again, they're not bad. Like, it's not really going to be like a bad quarterfinals, right? If that's what you want to call it, like whatever the first stage is in the playoffs, whatever they want to call it. It's not going to be bad time to like watch it. It's really like, how much value like this is what like how much intrinsic value do like the players get from like watching it. Right. They might like, people, you know, subconsciously are a tad disrespectful to like, and consciously I just did it. Like, I was pretty disrespectful to Energy, right? But like, you know, not really trying to be. Like, it's just one of these things where like they're sixth place. They might have bad, like, I can break down. We can go to like a breakdown and see what like the bad habits are. But even we already discussed, Faker had a bad habit in his like just getting caught out the whole entire game the last time. Right. Players have these bad habits, and I think it's just a simple fact that like NA just doesn't have enough games going into playoffs against each other. Right?
It might also be a problem that NA isn't the main character. And I'm not saying it needs to be, because clearly the competition has like looked down about NA for a while. LCK, the Korean and the APAC region, is definitely the main character, and that might have different ramifications. It's similar to like basketball. The NBA is the main character when it comes to basketball. Everybody's trying to play there. Teams are the best there. But then you have like the Euro League. You've got all these summer leagues and like and whatnot. And like, they're not saying they're bad, but they're definitely not the main character. And they take that side note, and taking that side note, that sidecar, it produces a different mindset, a different culture, even maybe just from the way they run teams, from coaching and strategy. Like you said, if we look here at the bracket this week for LCS playoffs for the playoffs of the summer split. I'm trying to say it correctly. We go into why is Energy Kia, who has good teams, maybe they just haven't clicked. Maybe it's coaching, maybe it's organization, maybe it's just they're writing it off because they're going to be moving into the new sort of a coalition conference next year. But like, that's all happening. But like, why is it happening? And like, it's hard to say in that way, because like, it might just be that they're the side character. It might just be those unknown factors behind the scenes, but like, the fans aren't going to care. They just want to watch the game, and they want to watch a team that they attach with, they're engaged with, and that they want to win. But like, it's hard to root for Energy Kia when they're 2-6, man. Like, it's hard not to think, oh yeah, Team Liquid's not just gonna 7-0 these guys, as because they already did. And like, part of that is maybe the number of games in a year in the split, but I don't know, man. It's tough, and I don't. They have some soul searching. The teams, the organizations, as well as Riot. So monologue over, TED talk over for my point of view on this. But dude, it just feels bad, man. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not supposed to feel bad, but it does.
Exactly.
But like again, it's just unfortunate, I think, for FlyQuest. I think FlyQuest has like the worst position out of like everything, and even maybe Cloud9. Like, I think this side bracket like is a tad rough, like, personally. I would probably prefer just like tier it out and just have like not even like have Dignitas, 100 Thieves, and NRG have like a round robin thing where they're going to play each other, and then they come out, whoever out of these three teams, whoever has the best record playing against each other, right? Then you guys get to face FlyQuest. Then whoever wins that gets to face Cloud9. I'd like to see something like that, rather than like, oh cool, I can miss round one. Oh, cool, I can miss round two.
I wonder.
Oh, cool, I could probably miss upper bracket finals.
Like, I wonder how much that plays into it. But then also, like, the teams that have the ticket to Worlds at the end of this year already they're not sandbagging it, but maybe they're not trying as hard. They're saving their good algebra for the fourth quarter, right? Like. And that might be the case here. FlyQuest had a pretty solid. They didn't do too bad this one. I think 5-2. So right, so like, not too shabby. They're one of three teams that are in the positive for the record on this split. But like, I wonder too how much like are they laying off of the gas for this split, or are they just trying to like, and maybe the other teams are like, hey, we don't have a statistical chance, let's not bother. So like, there could be all that happening in the background. And I do want to kind of pivot us into something positive here. And maybe the positive, okay, is like predictions. What do you see happening here? Who's taking the bracket? Who's getting knocked down to lower bracket and going all the way back up to the upper bracket? So that's the two questions. Who's going to the grand finals and winning? And then who's running the lower bracket?
Most likely grand finals is going to be Cloud9 and Team Liquid. Like, just in general, they're like, Cloud9's going to get knocked out in the upper bracket finals and have to fight their way back in. That should be smooth for them, but mental's mental, so you never know like if they're going to just like throw the game. And they're going to knock FlyQuest down. Who knows? Like, Energy can be the dark horse and like come out and just start taking everybody out, right? Like, I think we will see like, I don't want anybody to feel bad. Like, I think Dignitas is going to beat 100 Thieves in the first round, in round one, and I think that I'm hoping 100 Thieves goes on a tear until they have to face Cloud9. So like, I hope. My thought is that Team Liquid's going to be number 1. 100 Thieves will be number 3.
All right.
I want 100 Thieves to be number 3, because that would make it like super exciting. That would make it worthwhile for me if 100 Thieves loses, because I do like to watch 100 Thieves. I like the team. If they lose, go to the lower bracket finals, I'll have more incentive to watch lower bracket finals. I will tell you, not lower bracket finals. Sorry, lower bracket round 1.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen, I'm not watching those games. Like, this is why I don't like this sort of format. It's like, it's very clear that the player, like the fan base, is going to be like, well, I'm not watching that. that's not for me.
Well,
that's for like somebody else, you know?
And like the format is good and makes sense when you have teams that have positive records. I think 3 of these teams don't, right? Like you can't really like argue on, and I know you're not arguing it. But you know, I'm sorry, it brought us to the wrong thing. I want to bring us to standings over here. But again, like that's not the standings. Come on.
Just click the standings. Click standings at the top.
I did, man. It's not working.
The site's broken. Oh, the site is broken.
RIP. But you know, with that,
click on regular season, bro. Like up at the top instead of playoffs.
No, that's fair.
There you go.
All right, making sure we're back up. But yeah, like just kind of prove my point again. Like FlyQuest, Cloud9, and Team Liquid Honda are the only 3 teams that have a positive win record. Now, does the positive win record represent their success? Well, obviously it does. But like, you know, they played everybody once and then they won more than they lost, and the other teams lost more than they won. When you have 5 out of 8 teams lose more than they won, maybe that's close games, maybe it's not, but like that's the part that feels bad. So like, do you really think like a Dignitas 100, these guys are awesome players, right? But like, why is it 3 and 4? Why is 100 Thieves 3 and 4? Why is Energy Kia 2 and 5? It makes for a great storyline if they beat the 7-0 team, but like, then what's the likelihood of that? And like, that's the conversation piece I'm having with this prediction. I think it's going to be Team Liquid Honda going into the finals, probably winning. I think Cloud9 is going to get to the middle bracket. I think it's between them and FlyQuest, which it's probably going to be in that bracket. They're going to have the big rivalry match in the upper bracket and then again in the lower bracket, and whoever can like overcome the other is going to face Team Liquid Honda. And like, I'm saying that almost begrudgingly because like it almost feels like the script is in and it's all set in stone already.
I mean, I would assume so. Like this might just be like a product of like what, as I said before, like the combining of North and South America and I guess Canada.
Right.
You're welcome. It could be like that sort of thing, right? But it could also be that like, you know, Mark Z is the new commissioner, right? He's the big head honcho doing some stuff, right? He's reduced a lot of the bloat that was going on, right? With like broadcasting, even though, you know, hiccups still happen and everything like that. This could be his thought process of like everybody faces each other once in the best of 3, which prevents like silly slip ups, right? Like at the end, like Team Liquid faces, why like Dignitas again, right? Like they face him round 2, and then they slip up because they're disrespecting him and not respecting them as an opponent. Blah blah blah. They lose the game, and it's like, oh, way to throw. Like maybe he's trying to get rid of that. Like who knows? But it's a little goofy that you only played 7 matches.
There's excitement in that for sure, right? And like that's why a lot of people love playoff hockey, playoff baseball, playoff sports in general, because you have that single elimination kind of situation. Baseball, best of 7, basketball, best of 7, like there's still that excitement, but like it's on a different level, you know, and it shouldn't just be like a who showed up, who had COVID and wasn't playing to their fullest, who, you know, knew what the weather was going to be and decided to deflate some balls or something, right? Like you see all those sort of things happen in traditional sports. And I'm sure the same is happening here, but like, it's not really creating a sustainable situation, and something needs to change. But let's see how this tournament goes. Let's see how this playoff season goes in the LCS. See who comes in with the spark. I think Cloud9 needs to basically get an invite to Worlds to like have some sort of showing. So winning this is going to give them a good position for that. But like ultimately, it might just be the LCK show, the Korean show and Worlds. And that's kind of what they already figured out here, or they've already kind of resigned themselves to.
The Gen G show?
Right.
Not a big fan of them, but hey, let's do it, Gen G. Like, let's go.
All right, man. Talking a lot about that, and it's been a kind of a scuffed episode, but we're working our way through. Thanks for sticking around with us. We've got a couple more topics to talk about. If you want to chime in, make sure you hit us up on our social media at the Esports Meta on all your favorite platforms. Otherwise, you can just make a comment here. Lurking is just fine. We love you we love you the same, no matter what you want to do. But if you are invested in these topics, chime in. Let us know what your thoughts are. What are you expecting? We'll do our best to include you in the show.